Raise your hand if you've ever seen a football game. All right. Now raise your hand if you know what happens to the person carrying the football. All right. Today, that's what we are going to be talking about. The person carrying the football and being hit, so they stop, or the person carrying the football and they're hit and then they change directions, is a form or an example of Newton's first law. This law states that any object that is standing will remain standing unless it's acted on by an outside force, like another football player. But an object going in one direction can change directions only if an outside force creates another direction for it. Now, that can get kind of complicated. So we use the example of the football players. However, I really don't want y'all to hit each other like football players. So what we're going to do is use bowling sets for our example. Now, each group will have a set of bowling balls and bowling pins. You need to label your bowling balls with whatever vocabulary makes sense in your mind. I've used the acting force. I use this terminology because I know this will be the force that will affect my fixed object. Then you go to your set of pins and you need to label these. You can use fixed object or you can use object affected, whichever one is going to make more sense in your mind. I used object affected because the bowling balls, which are my acting force, are going to hit my fixed objects and they will be the objects affected. Now, if that vocabulary is confusing, you need to use one that makes sense in your mind because you're the one that needs to understand the law. Now, once you get everything labeled, I want you to get a real clear picture of your note cards and everything so we can have good group discussion. Once you have labeled everything, I want you to roll the bowling ball across to your fixed objects so you can see your acting force and Newton's first law in action. Now, be careful. Do not get crazy with the bowling balls. I don't want anyone to have any injuries. Now, when you go to roll your bowling ball, don't throw it. Just slowly roll it across the table so you can kind of get a feel for the object in action. And I will be your example right now. So I'm rolling my acting force and I'm going to hit my objects affected. Now everyone sees Newton's first law in action. Now it's your turn to go and try it yourselves.